tossball leagues this season. Tossball?
Welcome, welcome. Well, if it isn't a new face in Fairfield. What I meant to say is that we now have the new improved Purple Berry Crunch. Now with 10% more flavor. Or was it crunch? I'm sure you'll find something that'll fit your liking. Welcome, welcome. Hello again. I don't think we were properly introduced. I'm Arthur Crombie. Welcome to More Perfect Goods, a proud Auntie's Choice franchise. Like they say, a bit spent today is a bullet fired tomorrow. Welcome, welcome. Welcome. See anything? How can I improve your day the Auntie's way? Gladly. No better choice than Auntie's Choice. Welcome, welcome. See anything you like?
Commander, there is a 98.7% chance that hunting Agent DeVries will require greater amounts of ammunition than you currently possess. Ammunition can be purchased at vending machines or crafted at a workbench using materials like this collection of scrap metal and powder.
I can also help you craft items in a pinch when we're out together. Most won't even explode on you.
Can't get that Auntie's Choice jingle out of my head. Hey, if I start humming it, you do what you gotta. Anyway, need something, Commander?
Sure, always happy to tool around for a bit.
What did you have in mind?
Keep 'em coming. All day.
Gonna need a bigger store. Let me guess. Gun keeps jamming, armor don't quite fit snug as you like. State your division and I'll get you outfitted. Quick and proper, or your next provision's free. Astounded the minister hasn't yet converted you to our cause. But in the meantime, I'll trade you my own bona fides for jotting down your name. All bits spend the same to me. As Chief Replenishment Officer, it's my privileged duty to furnish our brave troops with all of their wartime essentials. You could say I put the ration in liberation. Tell me what you need, and I'll do my ample best to supply you. As a friendly reminder, all sales are final, especially ammunition. Business is always good when a war's on. What do you need this time? I'm sure you'll find something to your liking.
Schedule an appointment if you need to talk to me. How do you eat purpleberry crunch? Real warriors eat it right from the box.
The target's not on the ground.
Trainee Lindell, be so kind as to remind us all what the first rule of the range is.
Guns are weapons, not toys.
And do we aim weapons at colleagues or at our own unprotected upper stories, even in jest? And we do not. The soldiers before you are former protectorate subjects, mainly of the farming variety. No knowledge of combat. Scarce experience wielding anything deadlier than a wrench. They are accustomed to being told what to do, when to do it, even how to think. A lifetime of habitual servitude is not broken in a day. I'm not one to idle in the path of a good faith effort to accelerate education. The faster we can get more soldiers in the field, the better. There's just one problem. I don't know you. So, respectfully, I must ask, what do you feel qualifies you to give instruction to my recruits? You do have a certain confidence about you that is presently absent in these recruits. Very well, I'll allow you to speak with them. Don't make me regret this. Attention trainees, guns down. That means you too, Simpson. We have a guest who has a few words to share.
You have something to say to us? Wait, I know this one. Low overhead and competitive prices.
Consider your fellow troopers as siblings in arms, trustworthy, reliable. They are not, as we have discussed, meat shields.
All right. Do seem to recall a discussion like that now that you mention it.
Yes, and a corporate ladder means there's always somewhere greater to reach. Now, if Auntie's faith in you is not misplaced, then prove it, trainees! Weapons at the ready! And fire! Well done, trainees! Well done! It appears your words have had their intended effect. Oh, thank law. The trainees seem quite taken with you, too. As I suspect they would riot if I let you leave without a reward. Please, accept this revolver with Auntie's thanks. Plan willing, I will have as much success deploying your wisdom with my next batch of recruits.
Good form.
Protectorate folks must have been bored out of their skulls before we showed up. Now I think they're real.
Boy, take this terminal and trash it. That's it. I knew. If you're about to blast me about fixing that void-forsaken terminal, it'll have to wait. I'm entitled to a break like anyone else. It's in my contract. I triple-checked. Sorry, I've had an accusation of laziness laid at my feet a time or two, and I'm not looking to score more. Not with the amount of eyes on me right now. I'm no loafer, mind you. Just happens I like to work in measurable gains, rather than busying myself for the sake of it. I'm a technician. I've been getting pressure from folks up top to deploy these Protectorate drones to the military camp on behalf of Auntie's Choice. The drones are ready to launch. All that needs doing is fixing their targeting priorities so they mark us as friendlies. But I can't breach the terminal's security protocols. Drones are only as dangerous as their programming. But it's a moot point anyway. These ones ain't gonna shift on their own anytime soon. And that there's a problem. I know it probably seems like we're up to our ducks in troops, but half of them are ex-Protectorate trainees who can't tell the business end of a rifle. We need these drones. Been key mashing all day. Surprised my fingers ain't stumps at this point. It was as simple as putting in the time, that'd be one thing. But it's a bit thornier than that. These Protectorate systems aren't like ours back home. Trip the wrong switch and you get locked out. Have to start all over. Ask me how I know. Have another smoke? And I will, approximately 15 minutes from now. I'm starting my break over on account of certain intrusions. Guessing that means you're flat out of ideas? Figures. Not that I need the help of some Protectorate townie, understand, but I might have heard my predecessor was odd-jobbing it around town these days. Magnus, I think his name was. Bet a fellow drone operator like him would have some insight into all this perplexity. What? Oh, yeah. I must have gotten jammed in there prior to the liberation. Truth be told, I'd forgotten about it. What with all the trouble this terminal's been giving me. If I can get these drones launched, you're welcome to help yourself to it.
Not everyone's cut out for life.
Solicit elsewhere.
You ever catch a break?
Swear, I almost had it this time. Everything all lined up. Easy mark, guaranteed moneymaker, favorable terms. Practically the recipe for success. Look like you've had your share of troubles. Ever had the perfect opportunity just slip through your fingers? So you can understand my situation then. I had just the thing to get me a fast-track promotion to lower middle management. Now you seem like someone who knows a good deal and wouldn't be adverse to helping me out. It's like this. I agreed to meet with a business associate to finalize a deal, but the location got set for Spire Grove. Problem is, you been outside of Fairfield? The funicular to Spire Grove broke recently, so I got no way to get up there. I'd break my neck scaling that cliff for sure. There's a long way around, but it's not for me. Why, the path there might be lousy with raptidons for all I know. It wasn't before, but mayhap they were just lulling me into a false sense of complacency so they can strike. While exploring facilities to the north, my partner unearthed the heretofore unexploited advanced Protectorate technology. Couldn't or wouldn't go into details, but he promised every household would want one, that it'd revolutionize the daily life of Auntie's Choice citizens. I lay my hands on something like that, turn it over to management, I'd start climbing the rungs of the corporate ladder right quick. Soon, I'd have all the considerable perks of someone responsible for a hit new product line. Bigger salary, name recognition, reserved seating in the company restroom, the works. opportunistically leveraging difficult predicaments. That's the Auntie's Choice way. I have a few bits I can offer you. Not much, but if it turns out a roaring success like it ought to, and I get a fat promotion, I promise I'll see you're taken care of later. Splendid. Go parlay with Jackson Plum up at Spire Grove. It's some kind of agricultural harvesting encampment southwest of here, near a mess of them rocky spires. He'll provide the agreed-upon schematics. Truth is, haven't the slightest. You know the Protectorate have all the most advanced technology, though. Probably something straight out of an Aetherwave serial. Edible spacesuits, N-ray specs, matter translocation. It could be anything. If Jackson's all fired up about it, it'll be beyond comprehension, I'm sure. Well, the broke-down funicular is due west of here. Dexterous-looking so-and-so like yourself could probably scarp her up it in a jiffy. From there, it's just up the hill a smidge. So close, but so far away. At least for me, anyhow. All right, then. Don't let me keep you.
The door of this stuff? They must be storing something good in there.
Yeah, guns, armor, probably some ammunition, too.
Leave me be. I have no interest in dealing with... Have you two come to mock me like your fellow dullards? Perhaps if you rub together your only 2 brain cells, you might even come up with something approaching cutting. No. Wait. You're not some corporate simpleton, are you? On the contrary, you have the manner of an officer about you. Someone who understands the substantive weight of command. It's in the way you carry yourself, like a ship with the slightest amount of drag. You've seen death, suffered defeat. Did you perhaps lose soldiers in a battle recently? Yes, I understand what you mean completely. Time does not always do the work we hope it will. It blunts the bitterness of failure. At best. Please, allow me to start over. I am Warden Sterling, dedicated servant of the Protector of Arcadia and caretaker of worlds, the Sovereign Henry Varick. I'm not that kind of warden. It's a title of distinction for those who serve in the Protectorate military, short for Warden of the Realm. Manners. How refreshing. And if I did? What a strange argument. Obviously, I would prefer the contents of the armory remain with the Protectorate, but circumstances being what they are, perhaps you're right. We need more privacy before continuing this conversation. Go to the back of the building, and I shall meet you at the window of my cell. I'll be waiting.
You're thinking too small, Murph. I'd put money on the Protectorate stashing treasure inside. A whole pool of bits enough to swim in.
It's a constabulary, not a bank. And certainly not some kind of gold-filled swimming hole. Besides, these Protectorate lack imagination. Never had an original thought wasn't written down for them first. Like I told you before, it's probably just guns.
We've tried everything short of skipping a ship through that door to get inside. Though, come to think of it, maybe that's not such a bad idea.
I'd love to see the quartermaster's face after turning her lamps onto that requisition request.
Fine, Skip drives out. Say, maybe we could commandeer one of them tractors out in the field instead. Oh, bet that could plow through the door.
In case you haven't noticed, we're in the middle of a war, and hard to say whether we're winning or not. Better question is why no one else is treating this like a top priority. Part of being a good soldier is knowing your strengths and your weaknesses. For example, I'm good at shooting wisecracking stooges in the face. Want to see? In any siege, advantage goes to the defenders. Right now, the Protectorate still has control of the bridge to the Vox station. That station is the key to taking Paradise Island. If, when, Officer Carr ever gets the go-ahead, we need to be ready. Right. With all our new trainees, we've got the numbers. But bodies won't mean diddly without the weapons and equipment hopefully inside that armory.
If there are any weapons at all, I still say it's treasure. This is Eden after all.
You've made your case, Kemp. I'm more interested in hearing the opinion of our new friend here. What do you suppose is in there?
Don't that strike you as a touch simple? And anyway, why would the Protectorate lock up everything they'd need to fight back? Unless they were trying to keep it from an invading force. Saying it aloud's altered my opinion somewhat. Fine, it's possible. I'll grant you.
I don't see it mattering much either way. That door is sealed tighter than a salt tuna can. Nobody's getting through anytime soon. You sound like you've got something percolating.
We should be able to speak freely here without the risk of being overheard. There is an entrance on the roof by which you may gain ingress. Had these two dolts bothered to do even the most cursory inspection, they'd have found it. I leave that to you to discover. Be grateful I offered you this much. That is all I have for you. I must recuse myself now, lest I draw undue attention and be subjected to another lecture on the benefits of the free market. Goodbye, and pray we never meet outside this constabulary. I will, of course, be required by duty to meet you as an adversary under such circumstances.
Did you get in there? Huh. Guns after all. Most of these irons look pretty old-fashioned, too. A bit lackluster, if you ask me.
Yeah, it's real sad how our trainees will have the armaments to defend us now. I swear, Kemp, sometimes I wonder about you. And of course, we have you to thank. That sure was an impressive display of ingenuity and forward thinking.
What do you think, Murph? Guess we could make this some kind of tax write-off.
If anyone asks, you're a professional we hired through the proper channels. Definitely not some nobody drifted in from the aether. Understood? Good.
Don't go into that cheap... saloon if you got a lick of gumption. They got no tolerance for it. Why do you think I'm out here? Has nothing to do with my current and very temporary shortage of funds.
Behind a desk all day. What, when I could stand behind a bar?
Oh, you might be one of my copious direct reports. Time for another performance review already. Apologies, I'm still applying the required elbow grease to scour these surfaces, just like a novice facility sanitizer should. Why, of course. Once a drone operator, always a drone operator. Just enter this code and you should be able to circumvent any lockouts. Thank you for making me feel like a vital cog in the system again. Well, now I better get back to cleaning. The only good employee is a useful one after all.
Welcome to the name-pending saloon, purveyor of spirits and stimuli. What'll it be, stranger? Why, sure. You'd be surprised how much loose talk and idle speculation occurs around here. What, between the Protectorate defectors, finally able to speak their minds, and all our off-duty Antes employees carping about work and the war. Any particular topic you have in mind? Basically, to avoid it at all cost. They have a brigadier up there by the name of Montelli. Sounds like he's as much a danger to his own troops as ours. Real piece of work, even by Protectorate standards. Reportedly enamored of show trials and summary executions. You're asking me for the particulars of a high-level corporate acquisition. Like an in-depth accounting of the various parties who vied for control and who won out in the end? They merged. Rebranded. Auntie Cleo seems in charge now. Dunno. Do my best to steer clear of corporate intrigue. Oh, Minister Milford Street's blessed with the gift of gab. Swear he could sell bypass shunts to a Raptidon. Ain't one of them falsely magniloquent types, though. Sincere fella. Shares command of Fairfield with Acquisitions Officer Carr. She's blunt and murderous. two traits Auntie's Choice highly prizes in a commander of corporate forces. To say they have differing approaches to leadership is like saying, gee, suns are hot, whilst being incinerated in a solar eruption. Vox Station's run by a brigadier by the name of Montelli. Sounds like he's as much a danger to his own troops as ours. Real piece of work, even by Protectorate standards. Reportedly enamored of show trials and summary executions. My pleasure. Got anything for me in return? Apologies, but tall tales and poorly formed fabrications failed to impress me much. Here I was hoping you'd have a good story for me in exchange, but oh well. Not everyone's a seasoned raconteur. All right. Appreciate you dropping by.
People think I got ejected from the saloon because I'm fishing to the wind.
Something I can help you with? I'd be hesitant to use any code proffered up by a former protectorate. But you go right on ahead. Look at them go. Laura's gonna be pleased having them added to the arsenal. Drones launched and no one dead. I'd say this calls for a celebratory smoke. Say, maybe we don't mention your part in all this to Carr, huh? Truth be told, she's taken issue with me as of late. I could really do with not looking the fool again. You're a real pal. You will definitely be getting a high score from me during the biannual peer review. And before you go, take these. Reckon they'll come in handy to someone of your expertise.
Might I have a word, Commander? I know I've been pushing to find DeVries, so this might seem a bit of a left turn. Avoid it. I'm just gonna ask. Got an old friend here on the island. The doctor who patched me up after Horizon Point. Ex-Protectorate, a good man. Tracked him to Westport a short time ago, but never got up the nerve to visit. Reckon we could drop by and pay him a visit? Brief one, of course. Not sure he'd still consider me such, but that's part and parcel of the reason I want to see him. I had some bad years on my own. Now with you here being part of a team, this might sound a mite soppy, but I feel like I could be a proper agent again. That starts with writing accounts. This friend of mine, Zebulon Tran, I let him down. And I've been chewing on that live wire for a while. too long, maybe. After I recovered from Horizon Point, Zeb and I ran together for a spell, doing what we could to help folks in difficult spots, fighting protectorate tyranny in small ways. Too small for Zeb, as it turned out. He was unhappy before I showed up, and after, well, all my directorate talk fired him up even more. I had my orders. I was to stay low. Couldn't let the protectorate catch wind of an Earth Directorate agent in its midst. But Zeb, he kept pushing to take more extreme action. I agree. But the problem with burning down the system is finding ways out for all the innocent folk trapped inside it. That wasn't the goal anyway. Just helping out where we could. We worked hard, but the Protectorate's arbiters and sentinels worked harder. Often than not, our help only made targets of the folks whose lives we were trying to improve. Didn't matter what we did. Arcadia was still caught under the Protectorate's boot. Yeah, that's what I keep telling myself too. Anyway, things weren't good. Zeb and I couldn't find the rhythm we had before. We were arguing every day. Eventually, cutting ties just seemed for the best. Clean like. Only later I learned Zeb hadn't given up the struggle like I assumed he would. He got to stay in mental refreshment for his trouble. That's the last I heard of him, till recent. Much appreciated, Commander. Promise, I won't be making a habit of pulling skeletons out of my closet. Westport's on the east side of the island. I tracked Zeb to somewhere on its outskirts, but never got up the nerve to visit before now. We ought to start there.
Nobody around.
Fresh blood in the talent pool around here with
No signs of corrosion. Exhaust manifold still warm. Come on, baby. I can't help you if you don't tell me what's wrong. The mail manager. Ask them defectors if they miss anything about Protectorate life.
10 bits, they said community.
Yep. Community.
Feels good to be back in the saddle, don't it, Val? Kind of reminds me of our days in Nix's orbit. Dodging protectorate patrols. You remember that?
Error. Memory not found.
Oh well. That's all right, Val. I'll just have to do the remembering for both of us.
We're closed. Did you not hear me? This place is closed. No learning today about how everything happens according to the obscure calculus of an indecipherable plan. Why are you asking? Who are you?
The people she tried to kill.
I, the architect. I had no idea. I wish I could say it was unbelievable. I was afraid she was becoming a danger to herself and to others. But this is horrifying.
Yeah, imagine how we feel. Why don't you tell us where she is so we can make sure she ain't being a danger to herself or others?
The anguish she always seemed to battle with, I fear it may have finally overwhelmed her. And could likely be what's driven her to her present course of action. I wish I knew. It's nothing good, I can tell you that. I haven't seen her since before the corporatists invaded the island. I'm afraid she's going to do something terrible, but I just don't know what. Maybe none of this would have happened had I not introduced her to Victor. How did... You saw her terminal, didn't you? Victor's an Order archivist. We were all friends for a time. But then, shortly before the schism, they started talking to some others inside the Order. That's when things became tense. I started to become uneasy, scared, really. She kept getting angrier with the Order the more she worked with Victor and her other contacts. On top of everything else, it became just too much for me. Among other things, for some reason she was obsessed with the cliffhanger ending of Chapter 6. It was the one where capitalist fanatics brought complete destruction upon Arcadia, but you know how it works. It was somehow miraculously saved at the beginning of the next chapter. Didn't matter to DeVries, though. She just kept going over it and over it. Would have talked to a Crabble about it if there was no one else to listen. That and the invasion itself set her mind to dark things. I begged her not to go down that road again. She was so agitated when I first met her. Must have been 7, going on 8 years ago now. She never slept. Didn't talk to anyone if she could avoid it. After we became friends, she began to change. Still bothered her from time to time, but I thought it mostly behind her. I couldn't watch her go back to how she'd been. Or worse. We became friends when she... well, she saved me. I'd said something without thinking. Must have been distracted. We all know to watch every last word we say. For some reason, she interceded on my behalf with an arbiter. And she convinced him he didn't hear what he actually did. No one does that. Boy, I didn't think anyone could. We all were, originally, before the schism. But she never gave it up, even when it became illegal to even mention their name. which was surprising with how angry she seemed to be getting with them, even as she was deep into scheming with Victor and the others. She even continued to sign her messages, "See you in the equation." It's all so confusing. What do you mean? It was where she worked, one of the Protectorate's communications hubs. She didn't speak of it much, at least to me. She may have spoken to Victor about it.
She ain't the only one.
It's difficult to explain. She spoke about things in unfamiliar ways. I felt her words to be freeing, at first. But slowly, I began to feel unmoored, doubting everything I ever knew. She said learning the truth of things was worth it. But now I question whether her truth was just more of her penchant to sow chaos, no matter who may be caught in her schemes. Some days I wish I'd never listened to her at all. Others, I can't help but miss her. Even with everything.
Know a little something about that, too.
I did try to. Once. After the corporatists invaded Paradise Island and took over Fairfield. They seemed to let anyone in there. Some boisterous fellow even tried to recruit me. Yes, and I am ashamed to admit it. Though if she hadn't wanted me to, she wouldn't have told me the code. Same one she used for everything. 15-778.
That is Agent DeVries' identification code, Commander.
She said it had some meaning from her previous life. I'd hoped she'd left something for me, but the safe was empty. No. But it had to be someone's fault, right? The Protectorate couldn't possibly have failed to safeguard the colony. Then they had to answer the accusations the Order leveled at them. I know I've no right to ask this of you, but when you find her, please remind her of who she used to be. She's unwell, but I know there's still hope for her. That's all I can ask. Welcome back to my chapel of fear and futility. It was a code she used for everything. I'm ashamed to admit, I did break into her safe using that code. Was hoping she'd left me something, but it was empty. She did say once it had some meaning from her previous life. Beyond that, I don't know.
That is Agent DeVries' identification code, Commander.
She said it had some meaning from her previous life. I'd hoped she'd left something for me, but the safe was empty. She kept getting angrier with the Order the more she worked with Victor and her other contacts. On top of everything else, it became just too much for me. I know I've no right to ask this of you, but when you fuck, that's all I...
Don't cause trouble. I don't need the extra paperwork.